Namaste yogis. So in today's video, I want to give a brief overview of the path of yoga that most people who are coming into a yoga studio are engaged in. So in the yoga studio, we practice Hatha yoga, Hatha. And Hatha can be translated to mean the physical yoga, but it can also mean the forceful yoga. And in this form of yoga, people engage in the asanas, the postures, the breathing techniques, and also the energetic techniques, which are mudras and bandhas. So as one engages in these practices, they need to understand the bigger context of what they're practicing. So Hatha yoga is sitting under the umbrella of what is called Raja yoga, R-A-J-A. And Raja means royal or meditative. And this is the path of mental concentration. So if one looks at the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is kind of the main text that has been written about Hatha Yoga. There's many texts since then, many different styles and schools of yoga. But the kind of first time that it was written down was 1300s, arguably. And in the first chapter, the second verse, the text says very clearly that the purpose of doing all of these Hatha yoga techniques is to gain success in Raja yoga. So without understanding that, one can get very fixated on the physical practices of yoga, mastering the asanas, focusing on the breathing. But what Hatha yoga is leading one to is Raja yoga. And Raja yoga is the path of mental concentration. And it's considered an 8-limbed path. The idea is that there's a progression, and it kind of encapsulates or holds Hatha yoga within, but it gives you the bigger trajectory of the practice. So this path, Raja yoga, is also thought of as Ashtanga yoga, 8-limbed yoga. And this is best understood by reading the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And there are many transliterations and interpretations of the text, but it gives a systematic approach to what the goal is. And so I'm just going to briefly overview the 8 limbs. It starts with a practice of understanding the do's and the do-nots of the moral code of yoga. So the first limb is the yamas, the moral restraints, things that one should think about not doing. And in a future video, I'll explain all 5 of those. And then the second limb is the niyamas, the things one should do. Have contentment, have focus or determination. The third and the fourth limb are what we're probably most familiar with. The third limb is asana. But in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, it speaks very briefly, only a few words, about 12 words about the asana. And the asana is translated as the seat, but we think about that as the yoga postures. The fourth limb is pranayama, which are the breathing techniques or the energy control techniques of yoga. The last 4 limbs, 5, 6, 7, and 8, are all about the qualities of the mind. So limb 5 is pratyahara. It's the pulling in or withdrawal from sensory awareness. So then pulling inward. And the last 3 stages, 6, 7, and 8, can all be thought of as degrees of meditation. So the 6th limb is dharana, which is concentration, little moments of concentration and often utilizing a technique to arrive there. Meditation is sustained concentration, where one can sit and really let their mind continually be in the state of concentration. And the eighth limb of Raja Yoga is samadhi. And samadhi is absorption. So when one gets really into meditation and they can sit deep into the consciousness and sit into deep, deep stillness that is non-wavering, where one can really experience kind of a steadiness within the state of meditation. So this is important because one needs to understand that the path of starting with the physical yoga leads you to the path of mental concentration. And when you can remember that, you cannot get too fixated. You can avoid possessiveness of the Hatha Yoga. You see it as a means of purifying the body, getting the energy system into alignment and under control so that you can absorb your awareness into concentration. So this is a little brief video about Raja Yoga. And if you're interested, please go to my website, briantobinyoga.com, and you can see the videos that I'm making that explain kind of the nuances of some of these topics that were brought up today. Good luck with your practices. May you have a lot of success. Namaste.